Hi, friends, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Ryan Abair, and this is where I share my insights. And today, trying another audio only version, and I'm asking, can we reach our potential? This is a common phrase, and I'm not sure potential is reachable. It's nothing we can take advantage of, dominate, use, or leverage, but it's always intimately there. So let's talk about the nature of potential. And what does it mean to reach your potential when in fact it has no limit? Stick around. You may have been told at some point in your life, you're not reaching your potential. You're wasting your talent. Talent is another word for this. You're so gifted, you're not using it. You're not taking advantage of life. All of that would imply that you're coming up short. It's funny because nobody's ever really said, gosh, you've used up all your potential. You've maximized it. There's just no more. You can't go anymore. Might as well put a gun to your head. There's no more you can achieve. You've reached the limits. It's a lot like saying you have too much money, or coming to the realization that you have too much money. Nobody ever seems to have too much. That's because potential cannot be tapped out or bottomed out. It cannot be wasted. It can't be leveraged. It can't be used like toilet paper. It can't be wasted, thrown out. That's because potential lives. The inexhaustible resourcefulness of potential lives. And it lives as you. Oh, it appears like the body has limit. I know. And if you've ever seen one of those people who does miming, one of the things they teach mimes is to never take the potential out of a gesture. Never make it look like the arm is extended so far there's nowhere it can go. There's always a bend to the elbow, a slight looseness in the wrist. The face could be happier. The face could be sadder. There's always some place for it to go. You never want to let your audience see extremes. You want to keep the selffulness in it. And that's what potential is. There's always a way to turn around. There's always a way to see it differently. There's always a way to have more, to get better, to refine your skills, to practice. That is until you realize the fulfillment of a contrast. But the physical world seems to have contrasting elements, light and dark, insides and outsides. And that you've explored these so-called extremities of life enough where you realize that craving has no end. Craving things, wanting, is part of this potential that has no end. And the same is true for the heinous activities, the darkness the evil. We all have potential to do harm. Always. And there seems to be no end to criminal activity, thievery, lying, all this stuff. It's as if the more cameras we put in, the more mirrors, the more so-called safeguards, the more opportunity there is for unscrupulous activity. It's because it's self-perpetuated. It's like the Ring doorbell. Oh my gosh, if I have a Ring doorbell, I'll be able to see everything. I'll be omniscient. I'll prevent all bad things from happening. But potential is always in every action, even the dark side of it. Henry Ford had no clue that his exciting invention, the combustible engine, would undo the environment. He had no clue. He could not foresee the implicitness of his doing. That's called karma. That's why the universe is in complete balance with itself. Potential is all around in this contrasting physical world. So when you think you've hit rock bottom, then you are limiting potential. When you think you are on the mountain peak, you have limited potential, but you can't limit this open field of possibility. And a lot of people get uncomfortable with that open-endedness of it. And that is until you align with it and realize there's no deadlines, there's no time, there's no physicality. You can be fulfilled in a world that craves and needs and wants and feels, when somebody feels like they've reached peak. And now it's all downhill from there. I'm 50, so now it's all just downhill. I love that. I love limiting language. I love how language seems to cover up the field of potential. But it can't be. You can't be separated from that. Potential is like one of those bottomless magic trick, like a magician taking things out of a suitcase that does not seem to have a bottom. It just, in either direction. So you can't waste it any more than you can waste gravity. You can't use it any more than you can use gravity. It's just there. It is. It's who you are. And you realize the extremities of linear thinking. That's all. You awaken to it. The principles of the universe are circular and wholeness. You can't have more wholeness. Wholeness is wholeness, and partiality is partiality. And the two of those ideas go together in the same way that a wave and an ocean goes together. But for me, potential is harnessed in the same way that a surfer harnesses a wave in the ocean. They are poised to ride the waves of success, which come from a deeper oceanic seismic shift. And then you got people who are out there making waves by beating on the water, thrashing around and saying, look, I'm making waves. But a real master surfer is poised for that moment when success comes and conspires with the moment and builds a wave of success. And it's not always. It'll trough again. But the momentum of the wave can't be stopped because it's natural. It's a process. It's because the wave understands that waves don't make waves. I wouldn't even say the ocean makes waves. It's some kind of seismic environment. The whole thing works. And the surfer dances on the wave, hanging 10. And you can tell the difference between somebody who understands potential and uses it in that way, riding it loosely, balancing on a surfboard, knowing full well that it's temporary and there's a rise and fall to it. But it's part of the same energy that's always open-ended. So you can dwell in it. No matter where you are, you can dwell. Oh, I can do more. I can do more. I can do less. It's wide open. And you don't have to travel on the extremities or the polarities. You can stay in that wholeness, that homeostasis, that middle space, which allows for the depths of the ocean to build a wave for you. And you're poised for it. You're not trying to make it happen. You're not thrashing around on your surfboard. You're a master surfer. You just know. The tide comes in. And that's how people make huge waves. They don't make it. They ride gracefully, understanding they're not doing it on their own power or potency or potential. And everybody has that. That's what's so cool. Everybody's got talent. You're not wasting talent. You haven't, it's not that you haven't tapped into it or anything like that. When you are potential, how can you tap into it? When you are gravity, how can you tap into it, if you understand what I mean? Use it, waste it, limit it, throw it away. It's wasting your life. No such thing. How do you waste life when you are life? How do you waste potential when potential's unlimited? How do you use it when it's all there around? Surplus upon surplus. Openness. But there is a way to become intimate with this open space where there's no thought, no desire, no craving, no hunger. That's bliss. It's a blissful feeling. To know that you are potential. Unlimited. Even limit seems unlimited, which is weird. Like scarcity seems unlimited. It's like we can get poorer and poorer and poorer. We can get richer and richer and richer and still feel that scarcity. It's so strange. It's an infestation of possibility. Homeostasis balances that and dwells in the wholeness and richness of open nothingness. Can you reach your potential? Never. It can always be more scarce if you want to. More lacking. More afraid. You can never be more fulfilled. Once you figure out this middle ground of complete surrender. Complete, not partial surrender. Complete. That the conditions really don't matter. They're just waves, part of the phenomenon of being in the water. Being the water. And being that which feels like it's in the water. All of it. So don't let anybody tell you you haven't reached your potential or you've peaked or bottomed out or limited anything. Dwell in that open infinity. That wonderful, vast expansiveness that is all things and all non-things and everything in between. My name is Ryan Abair. I hope you enjoyed these insights. Please check out my blog, mymorningmotivator.com.